All right.
Okay, now we are live.
Now we're live. What's up, everybody? So
That first
here we
take
go.
was so good.
That was probably the best we've ever done on this show, and now no one will ever hear it. All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Friday, April 12th. Both teams stink. Everything is terrible, and you've tuned into the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I'm your host, Matt Sawatsky. They call me Southside Zone. With me, as always, is my guy, Aldo Soto. What's up, buddy?
Well, we're gonna find out by the end of this episode if the Cubs bullpen can actually hold on to a lead here. So cross your fingers and also
pray for rain.
And also, if you're listening to this now, so just erase your memory.
Yes,
because this happened last night. So
right, that's very.
Can't hear you now.
All right.
There you go.
So normally this is where I'd be introducing Matanuco, but he is off winning a bunch of Big J Journal awards because that's what Nuke does. We get it. You can put words together without cursing. You're what East Coast elitist, blah, blah, blah. But on the positive side, while he's busy becoming a father again and winning these journals awards, he doesn't have to subdue himself to terrible White Sox baseball.
Boy, has it been terrible.
It's been really bad. And also, this is where I would also announce our other co-host, Kevin K-Fids, but he's busy out and about doing his coaching thing. Shout out to the Silverado Skyhawks. Coach K-Fids tells us about all of your foibles, both good and bad. How do you guys blow a no-brainer and only win the game 9-8? I know you're listening. Let's go, boys. Be better. Take a lap for Coach Zoe.
Hey, man, they're only kids. They're only kids.
Take 2 laps then. All right. So we're going to treat this episode a little differently. We're in the trust tree now, okay? We've all now entered into the trust tree. This is going to be a therapy session. Both teams are bad. Both teams are. Sox fans, don't say Cubs suck. Cubs fans, don't say sucks. Don't do any of that stuff right now. Both teams equally shitty. So we're going to talk this out. We're going to talk about what the glowing big problem with both sides, and it's actually kind of convenient that both sides have the same huge issue. But
Chicago baseball, not the center of pitching.
Yes. Oh, God. So we're going to get into all that. So all that and more. But with all that being said, let's tap this keg. This show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you download the app and enable the push notifications. Know all Chicago sports news before your friends. Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com, and download the app. Show is also brought to you by TickBlitz, TIXBLITZ.com. Now, although before the show started, I promised you a very scientific TickBlitz stat of the week. And our stats department has been working very hard behind the scenes to put this together. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the TickBlitz, guaranteed tickets, no hidden fees, stat of the week is 0. That's the number of Daniel Polka hits this season. 0. Geez. Daniel Polka is over the season. That is your TickBlitz stat of the week. Come on, Polka, man. We're all rooting for you. That is the TickBlitz stat of the week, TIXBLITZ.com stat of the week. And, all right, well, we can just start with the White Sox. We'll start with the White Sox.
He's not as bad as Chris Davis. Chris Davis is like 0 for 53.
So he has that going for him. I saw.
Oh, you cut out again. Oh, you're back on.
He goes, I hear the audience. He's like, I hear the people in the crowd booing. It's like, well, Chris, you're about to set a record for how bad you are. I mean, come on, bud. But yeah, Polka is 0 for 25 right now, and he's usually you'd like to be like, hey, he's playing decent in right field.
Nope. And that was the big thing because they got rid of Avi. He went to the Rays, and then he killed the Sox this week. And the big thing was like, all right, Polka, you got to improve as an outfielder. And I guess he put the work in, but sometimes he just don't got it.
No, and he already has. Well, it doesn't have any errors.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Baseball is very weird with how they do errors sometimes and hits. Yeah. And because that ball on when was it, on Wednesday in the series finale against the Rays? It was a line drive. It was tough conditions. It was cold as shit. It was raining. And I mean, I guess outfielders would say that the hardest ball to catch is the one that's like right at you because like it can knuckle right at the end. But that was rough. That was hit right at him. He went to go make like a sliding catch and he completely missed it by like 2 feet.
Yeah, it looked really bad. But in the books, he's technically still 1,000 fielding percentage. He does have one outfield assist too, but that play, and I'm sure if you're a White Sox fan, you know the play we're referring to was not good. So what do you think, Olo? Should we start with the good or the bad? We should probably just get the bad out of the way.
Just get the bad out of the way. We gotta talk through it.
All right. So the bad, it's no secret for the White Sox, is pitching. Pitching is terrible. Right now, currently, the White Sox have the worst team ERA in baseball. Ranked
and they
30th.
keep sending guys down.
Yes. We can get to that. That I don't understand these moves whatsoever. You have a guy who's literally 0 for 25. But, yeah, let's send down a pitcher. Anyways, and they're a 28th in the league in whip. So yeah, we're not looking too hot. Ooh, that was loud thunder. I think, yeah.
And I guess the thing is, like, all right. So some of those relievers, yeah, they've been bad, but at the end of the day, well, we've talked about this since the rebuild happened, and now we're in like year 3 out of it. So you want to see the young guys like get better, and I mean, there's a couple like fringe guys. Like obviously, you want to see like some improvement, but for the most part. I mean, some of those relievers don't matter for the future.
Right. Anyway. I get that.
But obviously, you want to see like, hey, somebody, let's pitch well. We don't want to be like embarrassing. You don't want to be the Orioles. Right. But what's more concerning through the first 10 games or so, or 11 games, is the starting pitch. Like outside of like Rodon, he had a solid like couple first starts, and he kind of got screwed by his defense in Kansas City in the season opener. But like he's still battling the control issues. Reynaldo Lopez still hasn't had a good start. Lucas Giolito, I think, was like one good, one bad, like real bad. Ivan Nova, his last start. Ivan Nova is basically what you're gonna get. One start, he'll be great because he throws strikes. So if a team isn't like aggressive and he gets ahead in the count, he can do what he wants. So he had a pretty good start in Cleveland, and then last time he just got destroyed.
Right.
And then. We were waiting for the Irvin Santana experience. And I mean, so far, Nuke was 100%. He's like, this guy stinks. No clue why the White Sox wasted like a spot on him. But his first start, not great.
No.
But like, that's the main thing. You're looking at Rodon, Lopez, and Giolito. And I mean, the concerns that we're heading into the season are like, you want to see the improvement. And so far, I mean, it's again, I don't know at one point we can stop saying it's early, but like I mean it's going to be April. It's April 12th, so it is still early.
Yeah.
But there are concerns there, and there's the talk, and I think you even brought it up a couple years ago when you were talking about Rodon, and he had that like great start against the Cubs, like building up that trade value. And here's a guy who hasn't been able to stay healthy. I think the most starts he has in since he came up was 22 or something.
Yeah.
Or like low 20s. And he's a guy. He's always battling like his command, and I mean, you don't know. Right now, he's the ace of your staff, obviously, with a couple of those guys with Kopech rehabbing and C still in AAA. So he's the ace right now, but you're just like, it's a little shaky. You don't really know what you're gonna get every time he's out there.
So ideally, I've changed my tune on Carlos over the years, and I'm a huge fan now. And in my head, the perfect rebuild is next year he's our number 3. And I think he'd be a hell of a number 3 behind Kopech and Cease. So right now, I mean, he's the control we saw in his third start, the issues came back. He did right the ship after a rough first inning. He did get it back, and he kind of grooved out. He's by far our best pitcher right now. Like, night and day. But let's talk about Lucas Giolito, because I got a little observation with Lucas. So we had this whole thing with his first start in Kansas City, and everybody was all kind of, giving him the how's your father, because they're like, oh, look at his new short delivery, and, he's not falling off to first, and, he did all the mental stuff, and he pitched a really good game in Kansas City. His second start started out well. Short delivery. Very compact. Everything looked good. And then all of a sudden, it's like everything just like a house of cards just crumbled. And even Steve Stone was saying on the broadcast, he's like, he's falling into first base every pitch again. Look at it, his arm is back to like 3:00 again. Like he's doing what he did last year. He goes, this should be an easy fix. He never fixed it. And he finished the game like that. And it was not a good start. And I mean, if it's something that's that easy to fix, this has been a topic in White Sox Twitter this week. Is it time to move on from Don Cooper?
Oh, I was going to bring it up sarcastically, but
no, this has been a real thing. Although, like in White Sox Twitter, this has been like a very big topic of conversation this week.
Okay, because I did see like one of the tweets going kind of viral in White Sox Twitter where they were doing the since their last winning season, which I think was 2012, and just like the the entire pitching staff ERA. And like I think a couple of those years, obviously they had Chris Sale and like they had Jose Quintana, which were like, I mean, Chris Sale was like future Hall of Famer, and Quintana was like an all-star caliber pitcher. And the rankings from like 2013 until now were like bottom 5 every year, I think. And I mean, and I know obviously some of those years, like especially the last couple of years, you know, the talent level just hasn't been there, and you're working with guys who are just, I mean, they're like veterans, or you're bringing up some of these young guys,
right?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying though. Like if I'm sitting at my house and I'm 3 Bud Lights deep, and I can clear as day be like, oh, Lucas is falling off into first base, like, and we don't know. I mean, for all we know, Cooper could have just been in his ear the whole time, like, fix this. And we all know Lucas has a couple screws loose.
Well, I was gonna bring up. It sounds like the problem is obviously a mechanical thing, and it's with the delivery. And it kind of reminds me, talking about Carl Edwards Jr. And now it's completely different because he just had like his new delivery was just a complete shit show this off season. But the obviously the big problem with him too was like the Cubs know what the problem is. They see that tweak that needs to be made in the mechanics. Edwards knows what it is. At what point is it just up to the player, or is it just the player's fault? Like, I'm sure Don Cooper's been around forever. He's known as one of the best pitching coaches. Obviously he's been telling him. I guarantee you during that start, he's like, "Hey, whatever that problem is, you got to fix that." Mm-hmm. So, like, at what point is just up? It's the player's fault,
right? And I don't want to put too much on Don, but because it was brought up, like you said, I started looking at some stat trends, and you know, he's not exactly playing with a full deck these last couple of years with the guys that he's been dealt. But I don't know. I mean, at this point, you can't really say anyone's job is safe on the Chicago White Sox. I mean, they're just.
But at the same time, how long has Don Cooper been there?
God, it feels like since before I was born.
I think he has the safest. I think he's been there like since like 2000. So he's been there with was it Jerry Manuel?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was Ozzie. And then there was the whole Ventura thing. Mm-hmm. And now there's Ricky's. I mean, I think he survived all of those. I mean, this is going to be another replacement too. We can talk about Ricky if we want. But that's soon going to be another replacement. I think he's going to be here for manager number 5.
He's been with the White Sox since 2002.
Oh, all right. So, yeah, like right before they got rid of Manuel.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just saying, and then, like you said, you know, Ivan Nova, we all knew what we were getting there. Ervin Santana, I mean, his first start, he lasted 3.2 innings. He's got a 17.18 ERA.
Rough.
Did not look good. Some of the bright spots, though, Kelvin Herrera has been all right.
Decent. Pretty good, yeah.
Carson Fulmer did not, in his 3 innings he got called up for, didn't look terrible. I mean, don't even get me started.
The one I didn't get when they I just optioned him, and pick another guy to option down when you brought back up Santana.
I like to think in my head, I've convinced myself it was a showcase type deal. Like, hey, let's call him up, give him 3 innings, and hope he does well, and then try to trade him.
They dangle him out for Jock again. Echo, and you guys need a center fielder still.
Jock is still raking too. Alex Colome. Oh, fuck, I can't pronounce this guy.
Colome.
Colome's been good. Manny's been okay. Nate Jones sucks. Ryan Burr's been decent. Caleb Ferrari's kind of fallen off. Kobe blows.
Well, he's gone. You don't have to worry about Kobe.
I know. Renato Lopez, I mean, I want him to be good so bad.
And he also brought up, after his last start, and he gave up a couple, like 3 home runs, I think. He also brought up, like, yeah, there's just like, there's a small thing in my delivery. It's a mechanical issue. I have to fix that.
And if that's the case, that's awesome. I mean, that's easy fix. And then just finishing the list, Jace Fry, see you later. And then Jose Ruiz came in.
Ruiz, I think he's the worst one.
Yeah, he's the worst one. He came in for an inning and gave up 4 earned runs, and it was just on 6 hits. And it was like, thanks for coming out, bud. Yeah. Here's your cup of coffee, and I'll see you later. So, obviously, the huge issue for the White, and they give up runs in the first inning every game.
They're turning into the Cubs. The Cubs starting pitchers just give up for taking home runs just every game.
They're playing from behind. I mean, look at their last 5 games. The White Sox have given up, going from the latest to the longest ago, 9 runs, 10 runs, 5 runs, 12 runs, 9 runs.
And that was after, remember, their first, I think, 5 or 6 games. It was every game they didn't score a run in the first 3 innings.
Right.
So and then now you have where the pitching is just giving up runs right away.
Yeah, and it's very hard to play any sport, especially baseball, though, when you're playing from behind every game.
Yeah.
There's no way that's going to – and, you know, we were talking about this in our chat, and Nuke was chiming in on this at the time, and this is like the worst-case scenario for this front office. You had a horrible offseason, and so you just pray that your team comes out in a hot start, and you can say, like, yeah, we knew what we had.
Or just an average start.
Or a decent start.
Yeah.
But you're in the bottom of the league. It looks terrible. And yes, before anyone tweets me, whatever, I know Machado doesn't pitch. I know Bryce Harper doesn't pitch. But like Nuke was bringing up, and I want to bring it up in his absence, just their presence in the locker room, and just, you know, that shit is contagious. And that's coming from a former player, and, you know, K Fitz agrees as a coach, and it's just
and us as fans. It would bring a different vibe around the team, how you're watching the games.
And it's just a winning attitude, like a swagger to it. Like, yes, I'm the best at what I do. Like, you don't have guys like Jose Ruiz running around the locker room. It's just, the pitching's really bad.
Or Yolmer running around the locker room.
Right. Well, we'll get to that side of the plate now. But before, the bright thing on the horizon, though, is Dylan Cease did start his first AAA game, went 5 strong, looked very good. I think his fastball topped at 96, and his off speed was in the low 80s. That's a huge gap. It was looking fantastic. He said he felt good. He was making people swing and miss. It was a lot of good there. Very encouraging to see. So, you know,
and he could be up as soon as like July.
It might be,
because I think Kopech came up in like the middle of August last year, and the reason that took him like an extra month or so was just, I mean, he did struggle. There's like a stretch of like 4 starts where he was struggling in AAA.
Mm-hmm.
But if Cease if Cease is just like it's not like Cease has to be unbelievable. It's not like he has to have a 0 ERA.
Right.
But if he doesn't have that dip, I mean, you can see like right after the All-Star break, maybe.
Right. And the Sox, again, 30th in the league in ERA. They're so desperate, and they need to put asses in seats. I mean, I know it's always been bad for the White Sox. It's not going to get better right now. But on the positive side of things, you got a guy like Tim Anderson. Tim Anderson is out the gate hot. Thank God.
He needs to have more kids.
Suck it, Nuke. Yeah, Tim Anderson is out the gate.
He listened to that rant.
Oh, yeah.
Someone played him that 1-minute rant of Nuke.
I know. And you know what, BA, anytime you want to say like Sub-Zo or anything like that, I'd appreciate it. But it's cool. You know, I have an understanding. But right now he's hitting 514, 526 OBP, slugging 730. He's got 2 home runs. He should have 3. 6 RBIs. He's only struck out 7 times, 4 stolen bases already. Basically, the dude is just hitting. He's just mashing right now. He's got the confidence, the swagger. Like, it's just when he's that guy right now in the lineup, when he comes up to bat, you're like, all right, thank God Tim Anderson's up. Like, I'm going to sit down and watch this. Like, he's really the only appointment at bat right now. Yo-Yo, yeah, I'm going to stop and watch. Eloy, still, I'm going to watch. I want to see his dribble single up the middle. But it's TA right now that's your face right now for the White Sox.
And
that's your guy.
And he's making plays at shortstop too.
Yes.
I think he had that rough opening series in Kansas City and it was kind of sloppy, but I mean overall he's all around pretty good.
Yes, and he used to make routine plays look more difficult than they were. This year he's making difficult plays look more routine than they are, if that makes sense. And I am here for all of this TA stuff. I love the whole high hater shit he's doing, and he's doing all this stuff. And I know it's the stuff that drives Nuke nuts, so that makes me love it even more. And I mean, yeah, keep doing you, TA. Love it. And then quietly, the second best batting average on the White Sox right now is Lurie Garcia.
He's been great. He was at leadoff.
Yeah.
And I mean, he started when they won those 2 games, or 2 games in a row or whatever. I mean, against the Indians and then the Mariners back to back. He was just every time on base.
Yeah. And you know what? And okay, the 10 strikeouts isn't great, but he's got 3 stolen bases too. And again, he's hitting 325. A lot of contact, no home runs, 2 doubles. So it's just he's like a singles machine. But I'll take that in a leadoff guy. And his fielding hasn't been great by any sense of the word. He's been a pretty good fill-in. He's definitely not your center fielder. He's not a starting center fielder on any other team but the White Sox.
Yeah.
Put it that way. Yo-Yo had the hot start. He's kind of coming back down to earth a little bit now, but he's still staying consistent, leads the team with 13 RBIs, 5 doubles. He's already got 3 bombs, And then there's Eloy, man. And so
we had a huge debate on Eloy this week.
Yeah, let's talk about Eloy here because he's batting .279 right now. He does have 14 strikeouts, and a lot of that is growing pains and figuring shit out and facing major league pitching. Mm-hmm. But he is getting hits. He does have, he's got 3 RBIs already. He's only taken 2 walks, out of his 43 at-bats. We can work on that. But
yeah, that's the only thing that I would be concerned about is that he can strike out fine, but at the same time, you're a power guy, you're a slugger, you got to take your walks.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's going to come with seeing more pitching. He's seeing it, and it is, again, it's April 12th. I'm not freaking out or anything about it. The only thing that I like to see is a little bit more, even on his outs. I just want to see him be crushing line drives, even if they're out. Most of his hits have been real, baby shit singles and all this other stuff. And hey, man, if it gets him on base, he had bases loaded the other day.
Yeah, that little comeback.
Yeah, the little dribbler in between the pitcher and second base, and the shortstop got all confused. But I mean, he got the job done, and if he's got the baseball gods on his side, I'm all for it. But I feel like it's still gonna come. I'm so far from giving up on Eloy, and like I said before,
that's not even.
Yeah, before we even got in the show, I honestly think we're seeing his floor right now, if that makes sense. And if his floor is 279, okay.
Hey, it could be a lot worse. They can just be making no contact, striking out 20 times.
It could be Daniel Polka.
Yeah, and we're gonna say this every time. We said it all last year with Moncada. And even, we weren't on with when Tim Anderson first came up and he was struggling. But we're going to say it again with every guy that comes up. Eloy Jimenez has, before the season, so before these 11 games, he only has 408 games playing professional baseball.
Yes.
So, we're talking about, what is he? He's 22, 21? He's 22 years old. He just turned 22 in November. there are going to be like some growing pains for like every guy. So, I mean, the important thing is not, okay, this is what I want to get to. And maybe we'll talk about it like eventually if Ricky doesn't change this, because Kevin was on his side. He's defending his former Little League coach?
KB?
Yeah. Or Kevin. What was he to Ricky Renteria? Or what was he?
Oh, Ricky Renteria was Kevin. Yeah, it was like his travel baseball coach when he was a kid or something like that.
Eloy Jimenez, Yoan Moncada, and Tim Anderson should not be batting lower than 5th in the White Sox order. And for any reason. And I don't care if Eloy goes over his next 20. Bat him in the top 5.
I sat in the bleachers and watched you and Kevin go back and forth on this in the chat. And I wanted to chime in at certain times, and I didn't because you guys were having a good conversation. It was good. Both sides presented a good case. But for the record, and I'm sorry, K-Fids, I am 100% behind you on this one, although he needs to see pitches. He needs at-bats.
Like, I don't care. Like, okay, Kevin's right. We don't know what's going on in the locker room. There's a lot of cameras, but it's not like we see every reaction from Eloy Jimenez. We don't know what's going on in the dugout. We don't know the conversations that they're being had with Ricky Renteria or whatever. But my only point was, what was it, the 10th game? Or the 11th? Because it was before Thursday. So their Wednesday game, that was their 10th game of the year. Mm-hmm. Eloy Jimenez was batting 7th. There is no reason that the guy that you just signed to an 8-year deal before he took one major league at bat should be batting 7th in your lineup. Like, and before that, he was batting behind Wellington Castillo. And I don't care that Wellington Castillo kills lefties. Wellington, he's pretty good with the Cubs. Wellington Castillo doesn't matter for the future of the White Sox. Eloy Jimenez does.
Wellington Castillo has 2 hits this year. Like, I'm not.
Yoan Moncada matters for the White Sox. Tim Anderson matters for the White Sox.
Yes.
These other guys, no. Yonder Alonso, I don't care.
He's really good at taking walks.
Hey, credit to him. He gets on the fine way to get on base, even though he can't hit. Mm-hmm. Hey, Jose Abreu, thanks. You can bat like 4th. Yeah. There is no reason. These guys need to have as many plate appearances as possible. You don't get that when you're batting 7th. Yoan Moncada, I think, was batting like 6th the other day. Tim Anderson's been batting 6th. Ricky, what are you doing?
It doesn't feel like he's managing like for the future. They're not going to make the playoffs this year, Ricky. Yeah. I'm sorry.
And like
April 12th.
Kevin was bringing up the Eloy's like he wasn't making. As you said, he was just having all these like bullshit singles, and it's fine. But like at the time, he was batting like 250 or whatever, and he had like the 10 strikeouts, and obviously Eloy's like struggling with the strikeouts. But it was like it's 2 weeks into the season. Who cares? He needs to see as much MLB pitching as possible.
That's all. I mean, if this is truly supposed to be like the last true year of a rebuild, like it's supposed to like start kicking into gear next year, then treat it like that. Get this guy at bats. Let him see pitches. Let him learn how to hit that low and away slider.
Like, let him be bad.
Yes.
We talked about with Moncada how like, and with Kopech too, how like you need these guys. And Nuke brought it up with Kopech a lot before he was brought up to the majors last year. How these guys need to experience like a down. Because they've been up their entire life. Like Eloy Jimenez has just been like a beast ever since he picked up a bat.
Right.
He's never been bad. These are the worst like 12, 11 games of his career, like in a row.
And he's still batting 279.
And exactly, like he's still making contact.
Right.
It's not the hardest contact, but hey, he's not like striking out 50% of the time or whatever. Mm-hmm. He's not Chris Davis. Oh man, I kind of feel sorry for Chris Davis. Anyway,
definitely don't.
But like these guys, it's like if there's something that like we're not seeing, because I guess we saw it last year with Moncada, we did see it in the body language how he would get down on himself, he would carry it over to defense, and like there was times where he would like bench him in the middle of the game. But like I haven't have we seen that with Eloy? I haven't seen that. He's running down. He's not the fastest guy, but he's still busting his ass down the line. I mean, his defense and left, he's not the smoothest guy.
Been solid. It's been solid. And you see him dancing in the dugout with, these guys, and he's having a good time still, and he's staying up. And I appreciate that. And, it's the opposite of what Yo-Yo was doing last year when he was going through his funk. Remember, he got kicked. Renteria fucking benched Yo-Yo last year. I was at that game when he, barely walked to first base after grounding out. He was so frustrated. I don't think you would ever see that in Eloy in a million years. And it's cool. They're different guys. It's fine. But it's more, I appreciate the big smile, the goofing, and he's figuring it out. He's freaking learning.
There are just two things I want from Ricky. One, just those Anderson, Moncada, Jimenez need to be in the top 5 every day.
Okay.
Second, Ricky Renteria needs to stop making pitching changes when the White Sox are down 8 runs and there's 2 outs and a runner on base in the 7th inning, and they're down 9-1, and then he brings in a reliever. Stop.
Just let him finish.
Ricky, stop. He was doing this last year. I remember opening day when they were blowing out the Royals, and it was the 9th inning. It was whatever it was, but they were blowing them out. And with 2 outs, he made a pitching change. It's why? Ricky, stop. The 3 batter minimum rule was written for Ricky Renteria. This is getting ridiculous.
It is. I guess I never really realized that, but yeah.
And he's doing it too, in a weird spot. We just talked about how Ruiz has been terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody brought it up on Reddit, and they had a long thing. I kind of felt bad for him because you shouldn't get that worked up over a pitching change in April, but he did. And he went over it very well. Well, Ruiz was struggling, but he came in, he gave up a couple hits, but then he got a double play or something. But the point was that there was 2 outs, and Ruiz was actually fine. It's not he was getting hit hard. It's hey, give the guy a chance to get out of the inning.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Ricky comes in and makes the pitching change with 2 outs, and I think the run ended up scoring. But Ricky, what?
Is it you think it's one of those things where he's just hey, look at me, I'm doing stuff, I'm managing.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't really remember that much from the Ricky Renteria era with the Cubs. But I guess at the time, the Cubs were fine with they're he was communicating with the young players. And, with the couple of Latin players there. And I guess that was the big appeal when he went to the White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
And during this rebuild, he's hey, he can connect to the young guys. He can connect to the Latin players. But Ricky is managing. Not great.
That's a great segue, though, because he was a key component, him and Jose Abreu, in getting Luis Robert.
Yeah, Lubov start him in center tomorrow.
So Lubov is just tearing up high A.
You see the updated stats? Cam could put him up for the first 7 games.
Hit me with them.
Wait, keep talking. Let me get.
All right. So as we were getting ready to record this on Thursday night, Lubov hit what 98% of major leaguers would have been a double. Lubov had it as a stand-up triple because he's just disgustingly fast. And then his next at bat, someone described it who goes to these games a lot. It was a road game as holy dinger. I've never seen someone hit it over that part of the wall before, or that wall before, because it was the back wall behind the bat.
I'm seeing it right now. I'm seeing that wall. Yeah. It's one of those high. It's the Cleveland wall. It's the Cleveland wall at Progressive Field or whatever it's named down in Cleveland, but it's in center field.
Dead center field. He just that. I hope that baseball didn't have kids because it's dead.
Okay, is that game over?
It's got to be, if not in the 9th.
All right. So Christopher Kamka, follow him on Twitter at @CKamka.
Yeah.
Okay. Luis Robert in 7 games this season with Winston-Salem. He's hitting .452, 500 on base percentage, 1.065 slugging.
Jesus.
He scored 10 runs. He has 5 home runs, 14 RBIs, and just 3 steals. Little base running there.
Yeah. Well, you don't steal bases when you're hitting triples and homers.
Right, yeah.
Up to that. And
he's
playing good center field too. He's so fast. So basically with him, I don't see him staying in Winston-Salem much longer.
There's no reason to.
Like you said, I mean, I don't think he's on the Soto plan. I mean, crazier shit has with this White Sox front office and how much they're backed into a corner. You never know. You honestly,
nobody's got that Eloy thing,
right?
Well, no, you know what's going to happen. They're just going to sign Robert to an extension. No, wait, no, he already has a contract, didn't he? Or was that just a signing bonus?
I think it was the signing bonus. But actually, White Sox Dave made a pretty good point. Birmingham is pretty stocked up right now with outfielders. Like, there's a lot of outfielders in Birmingham.
Who's there?
I'd have to pull it up, but they're pretty stocked up. But Charlotte, AAA, now you got guys that you can tell to fuck off. Charlie Tilson, bye. Nicky Delmonico, love you, bud.
I hope Nicky is okay after that concussion.
Yeah, well, he put Nick. I will give Nicky this. He does have a pretty funny Instagram.
All right. A little Instagram comedian future. All right.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, these are guys that are not vital to your rebuild that you don't mind bumping for a guy like Luis Robert. Where,
well, I mean, but you can make the argument where, like, you can get some AA guys
and move them
up to AAA.
Yeah, true. But and so I mean, you still got like Basabe, Rutherford. I'm drawing blanks here, but it's a bit of a traffic jam in Birmingham right now in the outfield.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, so you have in AA, you have Micker Adolfo. Isn't he hurt?
Yeah.
Or no, was that Basabe?
I think it's Basabe, and he'll be back soon.
Yeah. So Basabe, you have Joel Booker. I don't know who that is. Luis Gonzalez and Blake Rutherford.
See, they're big on Luis, and because he had a good season last year. Rutherford has been playing well too. I'm just saying, the guys that you can dispose of, and Kevin even brought it up on the last show. If you want Luis Robert to go to AA because that's where he's going to see the best competition, because AAA is full of guys that are at the end of the line, or
just 4A guys. Yeah,
exactly. So. But AA is a lot of hungry guys that, are trying to make a move, so I wouldn't mind seeing him in AA. I don't think it's like stalling his progress. I know Birmingham isn't exactly an ideal hitter's park, but it's not really stalling his progress. But it's the Charlie Tilsons, it's the Nicky Delmonicos. These aren't guys that are vital to your rebuild. So those are the guys that are going to get handed their papers to make room for this promotion.
Yeah.
And then my other boy, Nicky Madrigal, my guy, we got to get him straightened out a little bit.
Grinder? He's grindy, though.
He is grindy. He's got a lot of very productive contact, but it's like ground out for an RBI. Fly ball, sacrifice fly. Like, it's like, come on, Nicky, man. Let's get some base hits going here. Let's get it going. But apparently, he's been sick.
Needs a little chicken soup.
Little flu. But you know who's making – Lubob is making Nicky – look pretty good, because all Lubob does is hit doubles and triples, and then Madrigal comes up and just hits like a productive ground ball, and Robert's so fast he scores every time. So Madrigal just keeps racking up the ribbies, but his glove has been his glove. He's been real solid at second base. That's never been questioned. We just need to see the hitting. So that's pretty much your farm report right now. Zach Collins continues to rake.
Who do you want up? Who do you want up for Polka? Because the Sox can't keep trotting him out if he's not any good. Who's the one guy? Cordell?
Ryan Cordell hit for the cycle on Wednesday. He actually has a homer in the major leagues already this year.
He had a pitch hit home run,
Yeah, he's 2 for 6 on the year, but he's not a bad right fielder at all. I mean, he's got 2 more hits than Polka does. He has 4 more hits than Polka in one game. But I don't know. There's, we're in such a shitty situation as White Sox fans right now. We're like, Polka's so bad, and Cordell, is probably not even like gonna be a guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, we're just craving any glimmer of positive, and you're like, oh, maybe. And I even tweeted out, I'm guilty. I'm first hand up on this one. I tweeted out, I was like, Every rebuild needs a guy that comes out of nowhere. Like maybe that could be Ryan Cordell.
Yeah, that was supposed to be Polka.
Yeah, exactly. That's very true. But I don't know. They did send who'd they send down after the last Mariners game that I was like, what are you doing?
Fry?
Yeah, they sent down. Yeah, they sent him down. Some people think they're gonna call up another lefty arm for the bullpen. I don't know how Daniel Polka's not in Charlotte. I don't understand it. He's young enough. He's not the type of egotistic guy that would kill him. Like
that's the thing. It's not like, oh, if we send him down, he might go through waivers and we might lose him. Like you can just send him down.
You can send him down. It's fine. Trust me. It's gonna be okay. And I mean,
oh man, that sigh.
There's just because I was just gonna say, like, Wellington Castillo has 2 hits. James McCann has 6 total this year. Like,
they sent down to just make it clear, they sent down Caleb Frere.
Yes.
He had a 6.75 ERA in 2 2/3 innings. He gave up 2 earned runs.
So right now, McCann is your best catcher on this team.
You got to bring up Sebi, right? Zavala?
I think so, because they're trying really hard to mold Zach Collins into a first baseman. So he needs more reps. If you're doing a position change, what up, Kyle Schwarber? You need reps.
Yeah.
And McCann has been a serviceable catcher. You know, he's batting .316. He's getting a lot of praise from the pitching staff. Like, it's kind of weird on how much this pitching staff goes out of their way to be like, McCann calls a great game. Basically,
what was that stat that you started off with? What's their ERA? Dead last?
Yeah, dead last. But they're just like, it's weird how, like, you don't hear a peep about Wellington, but they all go out of their way to talk about how great McCann calls games. I think that's kind of the writing on the wall there. I don't know how much of a shelf life Wellington has here on the south side. I can kind of see him just being dropped so they can bring up a Shelby. But
let's see, how much is one?
Again, as crazy as all this sounds to you listening right now, this White Sox front office is backed in such a shitty corner right now that anything that's like reasonable, that is traditional, like, oh, this is how this goes, and this is how, throw that shit out the window.
Oh, Wellington's not going anywhere. He's making $7.25 million this year.
Damn.
He signed a 2-year, $15 million deal.
He did. I remember that now.
And he has an option for next year.
And he's batting .095.
All right. Well, Wellington's not going.
Oh,
or they can do the fake interest list trip, I guess.
Sure. Sign me up for that. I'll take it. All right, I'm done with the White Sox. I got to get off it because I didn't want to get down. I didn't want to get into
worse.
I didn't want to get into negative town, so I didn't want to do it. So I started poking my head in there, but I'm trying really hard for all the listeners here and anyone that follows me on Twitter. I'm trying really, really hard to stay positive with the White Sox.
Hey, it's early.
It is early. It is early.
Can't debate that. It's early.
I mean, that's just mad.
Hey, the White Sox are starting a 3-game series. This scheduling, by the way, this scheduling is stupid. They were just at home for 6 games, I think. Yeah, for 6 games. They go to New York for 3. They're coming back to play Kansas City, and then they go back on the road for like 6. What the fuck is Major League Baseball doing?
Shout out to us playing the hottest teams in baseball right off the bat. Okay, the Mariners are having the greatest season they've had in a decade.
Mariners have 15 straight games or 16 straight games, whatever it is now, with a home run.
Yeah, so let's bring them into the cell and figure out our pitching staff while we serve up the best power hitting team in the league.
Get the Rays, the best pitching staff in baseball.
Tampa Bay, your pitchers are lights out right now. Come on in, we got the kids. Let's see what they can do. It's like let's have an opening weekend series against the Yankees. Why not? It's like, the Yankees aren't even. They're 5-7. I'm not really too scared about the Yankees, but
Aaron Judge,
Aaron Judge is going to put one on the fucking Ryan. So it's like, okay.
I'm probably making this up, and it's probably because I just remember like a couple series, but it does seem like the White Sox play the Yankees pretty tough.
They do. No, you're not wrong. But it's just, I don't know. I just find the scheduling hilarious. And when Ray Lopez serves one up to Gio Stanton and he hits the ball downtown, it's going to be like, okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Cubs. Let's talk about the Cubs. So again, we're recording. It's a little bit later on Thursday night. Cubs are up 2-0 on Pittsburgh. They're in a rain delay.
Just call this game already. I don't know.
They should definitely just call this game. But the Cubs are in last place with the same record as the White Sox at 3-8, soon to be 4-8, but 3-8. They have the 28th ranked team ERA, and this is before tonight's game. All these stats, so I didn't factor that in. I know Quintana pitched pretty good tonight.
7 shutout.
The 28th ERA, team ERA, and they have the worst whip in baseball.
Dude, those fucking walks, bro.
But the thing that's wild though about the Cubs is they have the 4th best team batting average. They have the 4th most runs, and they have the 7th most home runs in baseball. So that's why they're playing games that are 14-8, 10-0, 5-2, like just all high scoring game. We're seeing a lot of home runs in baseball, by the way. The ball is juice theory has never been more right. I mean, it's not even a debate anymore. It's the ball's juice, dude. Just get over it. But I don't know. Where do you want to start here? Although you want to start with the pitching?
I mean, I guess let's be positive. It's getting better. The bullpen had like a.
Well, when you're ranked the worst in the league, you can only go one direction.
What was it? I actually think now because John Lester. Well, first of all, John Lester's on the injured list. He tweaked his hamstring running the bases.
Don't want to bury that lead.
So he's going to miss at least one start.
Yeah, make sure they bet, Joe.
Maybe 2. Tyler Chat was going to start on Sunday against the Angels. Woohoo! And I guess they have a couple off days like in the next couple of weeks, so they can skip the 5th spot. So he's gone. But in that home opener, the bullpen pitched 7 shutout innings and extended its scoreless streak to 12. And then their second game against the Pirates, Kyle Ryan gave up a couple of runs, but they were inherited runners. So that was another 3 2/3 shutout innings. So yeah, 15, almost 16 in a row shutout from the bullpen.
Instantly got better by sending Carl Edwards to Iowa.
Mike Montgomery was put on the injured list with the Vegas injury. Because he was completely fine when he was on the team to begin the year. But Carl Edwards Jr., his new delivery it's illegal, and so that was a waste of all that work.
It's just that blows my mind. And our friend of the show, Matt Eastman, brings this up. How do major league coaches, scouts, people how does no one just go up to bro, that's illegal as shit. Stop doing that.
Well, the thing was, the way it started, he was fine because he was only doing a toe tap. And then he I think it was just going back to the Giolito thing. His mechanics then completely were all off, and he could never keep it the same. So then he just kept going, and then he just stopped. He was getting his leg up, putting it down, stopping for a complete second, and then he would pitch. But I mean, he's in AAA.
Yeah, whatever.
He's going to be there. He has to be really good for a month, I'd say.
Yeah,
he's not going to come up anytime soon.
It's addition by subtraction. They got better by getting rid of him.
Yeah, Mike Montgomery. I think it was his lat.
Sure.
So give it a massage. I don't know. They brought up Tim Collins. Apparently, I didn't realize he's short. He has a really nice beard and nice hair, but he's 5'7", but he's fine. Coming off at two Tommy John surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned Kyle Ryan. He's been up. He's been decent. Alan Webster. He just had that one where he gave up a 3-run home run to fucking Ryan Braun, but he's been decent otherwise. The bullpen, it's been better lately. Yeah. Brock has been good.
He's been probably best arm in the bullpen.
It was just that first week, and that's what makes it so frustrating. Because the Cubs are 3-8. If they win tonight, they'll be 4-8. Or Thursday night, they'll be 4-8. I don't know. They're just on a rain delay. The tarp is coming off. Just cancel it or call it. I mean, but if the Cubs bullpen, somebody mentioned it. It's not like the Cubs bullpen needs to be just putting up zeros every game.
Right.
If the Cubs bullpen was average the first week, the Cubs would be like 6-5 or something, or 7-4.
Like I said earlier, they're hitting. They're putting up.
The first 3 games against Texas, they scored like 28 runs or something, and they lost 2 of 3.
Kind of a wild stat here, though. No pitcher on the Cubs has recorded a save.
Because they've been blowing everyone out, or the bullpen's blowing the games late. Like the game, the Friday night game when Quintana just got completely just beat up by the Brewers, and it was weird because like Quintana owns the Brewers.
Right.
But like that game, the Cubs lost 13-10. They scored 10 runs. They came back. They scored 10 runs, and it didn't matter. Like they lost comfortably. Yep. Like, they were losing like 13-5, and then they scored 5 late runs or something. Yep. I mean,
the only question I have for you about the pitching is where are you at on the old panic meter with you, Darvish?
I am not panicking. Joe Maddon is the one panicking.
Okay.
And I'm not. And I remember when the whole first reports came out last year that like, oh, the Cubs are thinking about firing Joe Maddon after 2018. Like that was false.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always going to defend Joe Maddon. I don't think he's as bad as some fans want to make him out to be. You can question any manager's decision, and when their bullpen sucks, you can question every decision.
Yeah.
But these last couple times with Yu Darvish in Atlanta, all right, he had the excuse of Yu Darvish was like getting hit hard, and there's a couple runs on. He just walked a guy. All right, fine, you take him out. But at the time, it was still like Yu Darvish would probably give you a better chance of getting out of that inning than at the time the Cubs' crappy bullpen.
Right.
And of course, when he took him out in Atlanta, the Cubs bullpen gave up more runs.
I mean, he's pitched in 3 games. He's only pitched 12 innings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because that first game he only went like 2 innings because he walked like 7 guys. But this last game, I know everyone's going to look at the line, and it says 5 earned runs. It should be 3. Those last 2 are on Joe Maddon. It was crappy conditions again, as you know, because got to play night games in Chicago in April. So the wind was blowing in. But Yu Darvish gave up 2 home runs, a solo home run to Cervelli and a 2-run shot to Marte, and he got like 1 or 2 other ones could have been home runs on another day. But it's fine. I said it. He was pitching to the conditions. He didn't walk anyone. That was a huge thing. He didn't walk anyone. His control was there. He was throwing fastballs. All right, the Pirates got a couple good swings in there. That 6th inning, I think like through 5 innings, he only gave up 3 hits or something. In that 6th inning, he gets an out. There's like an infield hit and then a check swing single to right field. So there's runners at first and third.
Right.
He's at 77 pitches. He's fine. He's not laboring. Like there's like other times of like, oh yeah, like you got to get this guy out. He's falling behind in counts, or like he's walking guys, or like he's getting hit hard. He wasn't getting hit hard. He wasn't walking anyone. It's 3 at the time. It was 3-0, and the Cubs offense looked dead.
Right.
But it was 3-0 or 3-1. I mean, because Hayward hit a home run. Well, I guess we can get to Hayward later. But it's 3-1. Joe Maddon takes him out, and after the game, he was technically right. So Josh Bell was at the plate, and he's like, "Well, we wanted the lefty to move Josh Bell to the right-hander's box because his numbers show that he hits into more double plays as a right-handed hitter compared to a left-handed hitter." All right, fine. Josh Bell gets a hit. The Pirates score a couple runs. Yu Darvish in that same game got 2 ground ball outs from Josh Bell. I don't let Darvish try to get out of an inning. And he didn't say in Atlanta. He did say he's like, yeah, I just wanted Darvish to get out. I wanted him to feel good about himself.
Right.
Okay, fine. It was his first start after his start in Texas.
He's a grown man, dude. Like, come on.
This last start, he gave up a couple home runs. Fine, he was pitching to the conditions. That's what he didn't walk anyone. He looked great. He only gave up like 3 hits at the time, or like 4 or 5 hits at the end. But like, what? Just let him pitch. Like, this has nothing to do with money, and that's what everyone always brings up with these guys. Just he is your starter. You brought him in as a free agent to be one of your best 2 or 3 starters. Let him try to get out of it. And people are like, oh, well, like he has to make him feel good, or it's like, hey, like let him get out here, and then you're saving him for later in the season, or he did have the minor surgery to clean up whatever was left in the elbow.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was back in September. It's like, oh well, maybe they're being cautious. And hey, I'd be fine if they said, we're gonna keep you on a pitch count, like to start off the year, to like work him back in, because he only made 8 starts last year.
Mm-hmm.
But they haven't said that. They haven't said anything about a pitch count. They're not saying like, oh, like we're just keeping it easy on him. Darvish keeps saying, I want to go deeper. I can go deeper, but they're not letting him pitch. Like, I don't know why they're doing that. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it seems like they're being a little bit overcautious, a little too short of a leash. Just, I don't know. Maybe as it gets nicer outside or whatever. It's just, I really don't know. I can't defend Joe on this one. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no, I don't. That's the biggest thing. Like, there's been other questionable things with Joe Maddon, but like, fine. The way he's handling Darvish, though, I don't get it.
Especially with how much your bullpen's been struggling.
It's
why are you trying to make him do more work?
And then, like, you had who was it? Jester Rogers was like, well, at the time it was 3-1, and Joe Maddon was just trying to prevent the 4th run. Well, I mean, Darvish could have done. You can make the argument that Darvish gives you a better chance to prevent that 4th run from scoring.
Right. He gets paid a lot of money to pitch more than 3 innings a game.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. So
this last time it makes zero sense because it's not like he was. It's not like he was getting pounded hard. That like the fly balls, it was fine.
No,
you'd rather give up solo home runs, and like he had that one where he hit the pitcher, and then the home run happened after. Like that was bad. Fine. Yeah. And just have to get better. He can't be hitting the pitcher with like an out. Like that can't happen. But it's fine. All right. The Pirates had a couple good swings. They had a couple home runs. But he was doing fine, and you took him out in the 6th inning when he had 77 pitches for no reason.
Well, let's get back into positive stuff because there is some good with the Cubs. Like I said, they're hitting.
They're hitting well. Jason Hayward.
I was going to say, led by Jason Hayward, batting .371 with 4 homers with a OPS of 1.167.
And like I was going to say, like fans might like make fun of the Cubs. Or like, oh, the Cubs suck if Jason Hayward's like their best player right now. Well, like no, like Jason Hayward's just like really good right now. He has 4 home runs already, which is half of what he had all of 2018.
2 stolen bases. He's only struck out four times. Jason Hayward would be one of the best players on a majority.
How many walks does he have? Because that's the other
thing. He has 6 walks.
6 walks. And I think he walked at least one more time Thursday. So okay. I mean, he's taking his walks, and hey. We're hard on him, deservedly so, when he's been bad. And he started the year where he was like hitting a double play every game.
Yeah.
Ever since like that first week, starting in that Brewer series, he's just hitting the ball hard. He's getting the home runs. When he's not getting pitches to drive, he's taking his walks. So, thanks, Jason Hayward. He keeps losing balls in center field.
Which is weird.
It's frustrating because
it's so uncharacteristic, though.
So yeah, it is. And like the thing is, though, like even like last year, I don't know if he needs contacts or what, because like too many times it happened last year too, where he was in right field, he would lose balls in the air. Like it happened a couple times in Colorado, it happened a couple times in Milwaukee, Wrigley too.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, kid, you're gonna have an OPS of 1100, I guess.
I mean, Zobrist is hitting well. He's got OPS at 805 right now. I mean, he's doing all right. And then
Daniel Descalso, I mean, he had the RBI hit on Thursday, and he had like a little slump a couple games before that. But he got off to a hot start. Victor Caratini filling in for Contreras.
Yep.
He's off to a great start.
Yeah, he's playing really well. That's a nice surprise. Zagunis.
I don't know, but I mean, I know he has. I think he has like 3 doubles.
3 doubles.
But like, yeah, I don't.
And then Javi Baez is doing his thing. 18 strikeouts, but 4 homers. Like that's just he's throwing the bat at the ball and hitting it. A la Vlad Guerrero. Yeah. Shout out Vlad's top 5 in my book. So I thought that was awesome. I mean, Chris Bryant. You'd like to see a little bit more out of Chris, but
that's the one where it's like I'm not concerned yet. And Theo Epstein went on the score on Thursday. And they asked him, like, is his shoulder okay? Like,
fine.
nope, shoulder's 100% fine. It's only been 11 games.
April 12th. It is April 12th. Like, we're just, this is what me and you do. Is we're supposed to analyze what's going on, but like people just do need to relax. Like, Schwarber's gonna be fine, and the big one though is Rizzo. Rizzo's not being Anthony Rizzo right now. He's got 2 home runs, and 8 RBIs, but he's hitting 220 with an OPS of 763. Like,
and I always feel like he always has that slow start in April. I don't know if that's true. It just feels that way, but yeah.
Yeah, he could be a warm weather guy. He's he's a California
guy.
He's a Florida guy. Sorry, yeah. So I mean, it's early, but as a team, they're hitting so well. Like, you can't be mad right now.
I do want to bring up one negative, and it feels like I do feel like sometimes I pile on, but I'm not necessarily saying that he's bad.
Who's that?
With the amount of love, and he hasn't had much of it this year. But Albert Almora Jr.
I had a feeling that's where you were going. Albert
Almora Jr. hasn't been. He's been god awful this year.
485 OPS.
He's hitting his ground ball rate. Do you know what his ground ball rate is?
No.
He's hitting the ground ball 74.1% of the time. So basically every game, he's hitting the ball. He's hitting a ground ball to like the third base or another shortstop 3 times. And that's an automatic out.
That's got to be a mechanic thing.
And he said he worked all off season getting back to his swing that got him drafted. He's never been a power guy. He's never going to be a power guy.
And that's fine.
But hitting some line drives.
Yeah. If you're not going to be a power guy, you got to be hitting line drives, man. You can't.
74%.
That's wild. That's ridiculous, actually. That's.
The other thing, I think he only has, I think it's 1 for 15 or 1 for 16, 1 for 14, somewhere around there. He only has 1 hit against a lefty. That's supposed to be his thing. He kills lefties. He's not doing it this year. And it's still early again. It's only 2 weeks in, and it's not like he's the major problem. He's not the big problem with the Cubs. He's not.
Right.
But he's like playing himself out of the center field job. He started the year. He's going to be the everyday center fielder that lasted like 3 days.
And that was like a big deal. Like people were like, finally, like yes, like all right, and like you said, the love he was getting, and yeah, I mean.
And the thing is, Ian Happ started the year in AAA. And we can only go off the box scores, and like I don't know if it's the PA guy in AAA or someone who like is with the Iowa Cubs. He's like, all right, his numbers don't look that great, but he's had like pretty good at bats, and I think he has like a home run, a couple doubles, and I think he has 9 RBIs. Like I was saying, like he's been pretty good like in big spots, but he still has like 9 strikeouts and 27 at bats. Not good. That's
not great.
A third of the time.
Yeah, not great.
And we know that he's not. He's like as an outfielder in center field. So it's not like he's going to come up. He's not going to come up to replace Almora. So right now, the Cubs, I mean, when Almora's not playing against the left, when he's not starting against the lefty, and that's what needs to happen, he just needs to be a platoon player. Let me make that quite clear. I don't dislike Albert Almora Jr. Right. He's great defensively. Just he's a 4th outfielder. Please.
So for all of you that have made it this far into the show, again, we thank you for listening this long. But to summarize this whole episode, if you can play center field or pitch, you need to be on the next flight, train, bus, whatever, to Chicago and just try out because you got a shot. Because no one in the city can pitch, and both teams need center fielders.
Like at this point, it just needs to be Hayward needs to be in center field. And then you have Zobrist in right field, or you have Hayward in right field, Almora against lefties in center field, and then Schwarber, or put Chris Bryant in left field, and then David Bodie at third base. But, I mean, Albert Almora is just not an everyday center field.
Right. And also, for you Cubs fans out there, if you are going to Wrigley this weekend, make sure you say hi to our friend of the show, Mike Trout.
Well, he might not play that.
Oh, yeah, it's true. He's got the groin issue. Yeah, I tried to talk to him last night about it. He wasn't fielding my text.
You offer a massage? Yeah.
I mean, you got to do it. It's Mike Trout. So I would be pretty salty if I was a Cubs fan and I bought tickets for this weekend. I mean, you're still going to a Cubs game. It's a good time. But if you were I'm going to see Mike Trout play at Wrigley Field, like, this is going to be dope.
Like, hey, you get to see Tyler Chatwood instead.
Do you think they're going to start him?
Joe already said he's starting Sunday.
Oh, boy. Pray for Mojo. Oh, buddy.
I already said it. I've said it. It's like it's going to be 6 walks in 2 2/3 innings. Hopefully the Cubs score some runs because it's not going to be pretty. People keep saying, I think his last couple outings, he hasn't given up a run.
Right.
But he still looks the same. He's still just getting lucky. He's still like missing.
But to the Cubs defense and like that Angels lineup without Mike Trout in it is not scary at all. Like
the biggest threat is Tommy La Stella.
It's not scary whatsoever.
They only have like was it Justin Bauer? He's like pretty good. He's a pretty good power hitter. But yeah, the rest of the lineup, come on. And they've been doing better. I think they're like, I don't know, they're like right at 500. It's not like they're god awful, but
no, they're 7-6. They're fine.
Yeah, no, they're pitching though. Matt Harvey, man. Remember Matt Harvey when he was good? He is.
Remember Matt Harvey? Yeah.
Watch him. He's gonna throw like 7 shutout.
I'm looking at their team right now. Goodwin is batting all right. Ward is okay. Goodwin is their left fielder. Brian Goodwin.
I only remember Tom Goodwin. He used to be with the Cubs.
333. I'm looking. I mean, Jonathan LaCroix's batting 282. Justin Boras 154, but he's only got 1 homer. Albert Pujols is 100 years old.
Albert Pujols.
Tommy La Stella he's got 3 home runs, but he's batting 189.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. So I was putting because the Angels were playing. They swept the Brewers this week. Go Angels!
Mm-hmm.
And Tom La Stella hit 3 home runs in 2 games. He hit in back-to-back games against the Brewers. But so I put the highlights on Twitter. And as we just said, the Cubs offense is fine.
Right.
The amount of Cub fans who are like, "Oh, I miss Tommy." Like, "Oh, thanks a lot, Theo." Stop. The Cubs are not 3-8 or whatever because they don't have Tommy La Stella. Like,
yeah, stop it. You don't miss Tommy La Stella.
Like, Tommy La Stella can't play any position on defense. He was great. He was great in his role with the Cubs. He was a great bat off the bench. He could hit like fastballs,
mm-hmm.
and he could like fill in from time to time against like right-handed pitching. But other than that, stop. We get it. He's 3 a.m. Whatever. Jesse Rogers' favorite player of all time.
Yeah.
But it's Thomas. Like, stop. Like, thank you for the home runs against the Brewers, and it helped because again the Angels pitching sucks and the Brewers kept coming back. But
so I mean, we've been doing it. We haven't planned on doing it, but we've been doing it the last couple of shows where we've been ending the show with something that's been surprising.
Okay.
So far this season, and I'm going to go with this week. I'm going to go with the Boston Red Sox.
Okay, they just had a walk-off win.
They did?
They're back.
Yeah, they got a run differential of -27. They have the same run differential as the White Sox.
There you go. Both Sox are the same.
And I'm dead serious. I put some up on Twitter, and some people like got mad at me and like whatever. But dude, Chris Sale does not look like Chris Sale, and it's scary. The similarities of what we're seeing in a pitcher like Chris Sale that we saw in Michael Kopech before the TJ last year.
Oh no!
Like
I did see that the Boston was down, but then like it went up for an inning in his last start. I don't know if it stayed up. I don't think it did.
No, it came right back down. And Boston as a team absolutely loves to give up home runs.
Well, the ball's juiced. Remember that.
Yeah, but like it's unbelievable. So that's been the biggest shock to me. Is just I expected a lot more out of Boston. And I'm sure this, everything will come to the media and the ship will get right and like it'll be fine. They got way too much talent on that team to be stuck in the basement of the AL East. But
if Sale is like just not good anymore, or he's injured, that's not good.
No, that's huge. I mean, they still have a pretty good rotation, but it's just it's not good, man. I mean, right
Their
now,
bullpen is also bad.
yeah, their bullpen's brutal. I mean, Chris Sale right now is 13 inning pitch with a 9 ERA with a 1.54 whip.
Do you think he is? You Darvish?
I mean, of all these not pitching that well, it's just, ugh, this is just not good. Price isn't pitching well. Like, all right, sorry, but yeah, Boston. That's my big surprise so far is Boston Sox. So
my big surprise, and again, it's only 2 weeks in, but the Detroit Tigers, they're 8-5. Who saw that coming? This will start.
No one. I thought they were going to be terrible.
I have no clue who's like pitching for them. But their closer already has. I think their closer has more saves than like the Cubs and Reds combined, like wins.
Well, the Cubs have 0, so.
Well, no, like wins. Like the Cubs and Reds wins, and the closer for the Tigers has more saves.
I mean, they got the second best team ERA in baseball right now.
Who's pitching?
Jordan Zimmerman, Matthew Boyd, Matt Moore's been really good for them. Who else we got here? Some dude named Tyson Ross. That's a new one.
Wow. I mean, they're getting all those guys are like coming off injuries. I think.
And then their closer, Shane Green, he's already got 8 saves, dude.
Yeah.
In 8 attempts, he has 8 saves. In 8 innings pitched, he has a 0 ERA.
Yeah, he saved all of their wins.
Yes, he's very good. I mean, they have the second best pitching team right now in baseball. And again, with those names I just rifled off, no one saw that coming. I don't care. Beat writers in Detroit didn't see that coming. Like, no one saw a rotation of Jordan Zimmerman, Matthew Boyd, Tyson Ross, Spencer Turnbull. Like, no one saw this coming from that rotation.
Yeah, what is it? Tyson Ross. Yeah, because Tyson Ross he's the one who had the Cubs were like kind of sniffing around him in free agency a couple years ago. But yeah, I think he had like surgery. He had a couple arm surgeries. But yeah, he only made 1 start in 2016. He only made 10 starts in 2017. Last year with the Padres and St. Louis, he had he was okay, 4.15 ERA. But yeah, what the hell?
I mean, right now the best pitching team in baseball is Tampa Bay, and White Sox fans, we got a front row seat on that bad boy. I mean, their pitching's been unreal, but the top 5 is Tampa Bay, Detroit, Toronto, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh.
That's what's keeping Cleveland in, because their offense is bad.
Yeah, but now Clevenger just went down, and they're saying like it went from weeks to months.
Why?
And the rumor is now that Cleveland and the Yankees are in a secret bidding war for Dallas Keuchel.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as Clevenger went down, I guess Cleveland called Keuchel's representative and was like, "Where are the Yankees at? We're there. Like, what's up?" So that'd be interesting to see where that goes. I mean, the top 5 hitting teams in baseball right now are Seattle, Houston, LA, the Cubs, and then the fucking Diamondbacks.
Yeah, that's another surprising. The Diamondbacks, where's that coming from? I guess the ballpark is just like even more hitter friendly than Coors.
Right.
But yeah, that's surprising. I mean, the Dodgers, again, it's that they're not eating dairy anymore. Okay. So that's steroid or something. I don't know. Because they keep hitting home runs after home runs after home runs.
Focus on the fact how big of a loss Mike Clevenger is for Cleveland. Like, the season he's been having so far, let's go right now. 2 starts, 12 innings pitched. He's only given up 2 hits in 12 innings pitched, and he has 22 strikeouts.
Decent.
Well, shout out to the White Sox. But
yep,
with a 0 ERA. But having homeboy go down, that's a huge blow because, like you said, Cleveland's offense blows. So the 2 teams.
How frustrating is that I don't want to I don't want to bring you down again, but
I know it is. I know exactly where you're going with it, and it is.
It is. And I'll admit it, I kind of made fun of Beef Loaf. I didn't make fun of him, but I was kind of skeptical of his when he wrote the off-season plan.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, oh boy, if Rick Hahn and the White Sox would have just done something to improve the position players, and all they did was get James McCann, Yonder Alonso, and John Jay.
Oh God!
Like if they would have tried more,
yep,
they could have been in a decent spot. I mean, obviously we've seen that the pitching has been so the pitching maybe would have like screwed things up.
Right.
Man, Andrew McCutchen would look real nice in right field.
Anyone would. I mean, our right fielder is currently 0 for the season. So let's on that note, let's wrap it up. Hopefully next week we'll have the full squad back again. But again, K-Fizz and Nuke out doing their things. Again, Nuke, congratulations on the awards. But yeah, that's it. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at PinwheelsIvyPod. That's all the Soto. I'm Southside Zoe, and we'll see you guys next week.
Adios.